we're starting to look a little bit close to, I really hope the copper 50% comes off. So where I'm starting to get a bit worried is we've done this analysis on sort of thresholds, because statistically in inflation, we definitely see a sort of break of different types of regimes. There's a low, broadly speaking, there's a low and stable inflation regime, and there's a high and volatile inflation regime. And without fail, the things that trigger that high and volatile regime are big negative supply shocks. So it's 1973, 1979, and 2022. So that we've got negative supply shocks at the moment. The question is only, is it a big enough negative supply shock to trigger those kind of nasty inflation dynamics where inflation is just stickier, supply and demand find it harder to come back into balance because businesses don't want to invest, and so the supply side doesn't recover, and it's all about bringing demand down, and therefore supply continues to weaken. You get these horrible sort of like doom loops when you get into that inflation regime. What's worrying me at the moment is when I run forward CPI inflation, when I run forward US inflation on the basis of different scenarios of tariffs, the one that starts to trigger that rising volatile inflation regime is when you start to get tariffs moving above 20% on an average basis. So when the kind of the received wisdom was that we would be on a 10% baseline tariff, I'm like, okay, fine, it's a negative supply shock, it's not big enough to trigger that. But we now have, Japan and Europe, two major trading partners, on 15%, and a lot of Asia on more than that, and in some cases significantly more than that. We're starting to look a little bit close to, I really hope the copper 50% comes off. I'm assuming that'll get tackled, because there's just no kind of substantive reason for that to be the case. So we're getting a little bit close for comfort, especially in the context of the deportations and the self-deportations and detentions. It's just getting a little bit close for comfort.